All right, everybody. We are moments away here from JB Pritzker making an announcement, and this comes as the Texas legislators, including James Tallarico, have fled the state to break quorum so that the state legislature in Texas doesn't have the requisite 2/3 of the legislature to be able to move forward with conducting official business. And so this is going to prevent the Republicans in the state legislature in Texas from being able to push forward this gerrymandered map that is expressly designed to be able to steal 5 more seats from the Democrats. And so they've fled the state. They've done this before. Back in 2001, they also fled so that they could deprive Republicans of a quorum in their effort to pass a voter suppression law. Ultimately, they did relent. They went back to the state, but they were able to mitigate a little bit of the damage that the initial version of that bill was going to do. I hope that we have, I hope that there's no sense of capitulation this time. We can't afford an instance where they're gone for a few days and then go back, and we ultimately have this map passed. I don't know what the situation is right now. I will be speaking with James Tallarico tonight, and I'm working on an interview specifically with Governor Pritzker to figure out how long they intend to stay. But I hope that they are in it for the long haul, because the reality is that we cannot have a situation where this map passes in Texas. With that said, all the while, we need Democratic governors to wake up to the reality of the situation right now. Gavin Newsom is moving forward with the gerrymander in California. That gerrymander needs to be 52-0. This isn't just a tit-for-tat response. We need these Democratic governors to respond in a way that serves as an adequate deterrent for any of these other Republicans moving forward. If you want to gerrymander your state, go for it. We're going to take as many seats as humanly possible. And I know there's going to be some folks out there who say, "Oh, we couldn't possibly engage in this race to the bottom." We're already in it. Republicans have gerrymandered Ohio, North Carolina, Florida, Texas, Utah, Wisconsin. I mean, so many states across the country look like they do as the direct result of Republican gerrymandering. So at this point, we can either unilaterally disarm and talk down to people smugly from the top of our moral mountain in the permanent minority, or we can actually take a stand, get into the majority so that we're in a position to be able to pass legislation that would ban gerrymandering nationwide. That's what I'm for. I don't think there should be any gerrymandering. But until we get into a position where both parties are doing it, we cannot unilaterally disarm. We cannot just allow Republicans to do it while we do independent redistricting commissions, while we practice good governance in hopes of some elusive reciprocation that never manages to arrive. So in the instance that we're in right now, which is that we actually need to get in power so that we can pass legislation nationwide. So that we can do that, we have to be as aggressive as humanly possible. That means aggressive in California, aggressive in Illinois, which is where this press conference right here is going to take place, aggressive in Maryland, aggressive in New York, aggressive in New Jersey, and aggressive in any other state where we're able to squeeze seats out of. Like, this is the moment to fight. Because if Republicans are able to do this right now, there's no coming back from this. There's no, if they engage in a situation or a system where they gerrymander the everlasting hell out of every single one of their states, and Democrats just lean on indie redistricting commissions or leave in place existing maps that are fair, then we have no chance of winning. And so we'll have the moral high ground, but what does that count for? So that we can complain from Twitter in the perpetual minority, in the permanent minority? What's more important to people? Being moral and right, or actually getting into a position of power so that you can do something, so that you can pass some of these good government reforms that you actually want to see? Because the former doesn't seem like enough for me. I don't do all of this so that I can tweet on Twitter angry things and feel good from the minority. It is to actually get into power so that you can pass some of what you want to pass. That's the goal. So, look, I've been speaking to governors on my channel for the last week. I had Newsom, Pritzker, Hochul, Westmore all on in the last week. Started those interviews discussing what they're going to do in response to the Texas gerrymanders. I got commitments from Newsom that he's going to do something, commitments from Pritzker that he's going to do something. Westmore is looking at it right now with the state legislature. Hochul in New York is a little bit more confusing because there's some pretty strict rules in New York in terms of being able to actually amend the state constitution. But my advice to her and I told this to her in the interview, is to think like a Republican and figure out the ways we can go around these rules. It is not just, okay, Democrats have to play by every rule. It is figure out what we can do to win. I'm so tired of being the only party that's playing by the rules, respecting the rules, looking at the norms and upholding the institutions, while Republicans are running roughshod over all of it. So figure out a way to get it done in the same way that Republicans figure out a way to get it done. That's what I want to see. If you put a map in place that's unconstitutional, let them sue, but just get it done. Take an aggressive action. Go forward. Do it. Don't be afraid. That's what I want to see. That's what I've been using all of my energy and resources in terms of demanding from these people. And I understand, by the way, that it's not enough. And certainly doing one interview on YouTube is not going to be enough to push them. But I need to, in terms of what little influence I do have, that's how I'm trying to expend it and use it here. So we are moments away from JB Pritzker taking to the podium here and offering up some words in response to this Texas legislators fleeing their state and going to Chicago. Remember, JB Pritzker, his family owns Hyatt, and so these people are presumed there's 51 Texas legislators, I believe, and so presumably there's a reason that they chose Chicago inside of JB Pritzker's state of Illinois, and in terms of assisting with logistical help, which is what the reporting consistently shows. This would make sense that the guy whose family owns Hyatt hotels would be able to provide logistical support for 51 people who are looking for somewhere to stay. So we are moments away from JB Pritzker taking to the podium and hearing from him. By the way, if anybody has questions, you can throw some questions in the chat while we wait for the governor to make his announcement. And just a quick note, if anybody's not yet subscribed to this channel and you want to support these live streams, support my work, it doesn't cost you anything, but if you can subscribe, that would be a great help. How long can they legally stay out of Texas? That's a good question. I mean, it's a free country. You can stay wherever you want to stay for however long you want to stay there. When they're in Texas, they can get arrested and brought back to the Capitol. But while they're out of Texas, the Texas police don't have any jurisdiction in Chicago, so they won't be able to go to Chicago and arrest them. But it's not like you can send the feds to Chicago and drag these people back. It's a free country. We're allowed to travel wherever we want. Okay, it looks like they are moments away from starting this press conference. I just got a note. How rare is this instance? The last time a Texas delegation walked out was in 2021. So pretty rare. Doesn't happen often that they break quorum. They're being fined $500 a day per legislator. These people are making $7,000 a year, I believe. So this is This is no easy feat. I mean, this is not like it's not like we're watching national Democrats. It's not like we're watching Chuck Schumer walk out and have to contend with a $500 bill. These are state legislators, state House reps. Can Texas change the rules to force them back? That's a good question. I honestly would not put it past Texas Republicans to try and change the rules. So I mean, I should note first and foremost that Dustin Burrows, who is the Speaker of the Texas State House, tweeted, "The Texas House will be convening at 3 p.m. tomorrow. If a quorum is not present then, to borrow the recent talking points from some of my Democratic colleagues, all options will be on the table." So I have no doubt that they're going to pull some shady scheme to try and rig the rules in a session that is specifically intended to rig a map. So these people are shameless. They will stop at nothing. And if the question becomes, are they going to change the rules to try and move forward without a quorum? I would not put it past them in a million years. Why are these Texans who are walking out being fined $500 a day? That's the fine for anybody in the Texas state legislature if you are not present when Texas legislature is in session. Can Hyatt pay for the fine? I'm not sure about Hyatt being able to pay for the fine. I'm sure that there are some. I don't know the specific rules regarding campaign finance, for example, but I would presume that these people are not paying a bill for the Hyatt to stay there, and that's the most important thing right now. In terms of who's paying the fines, I'm sure that these are being paid somehow. I don't know how, but I they're not just going to walk out without having everything figured out. By the way, for folks who think that I misspoke when I said Texas state legislators get paid $7,000 a year and thinking that I meant $70,000, no, the answer is $7,200 per year. Texas state legislators generally have other jobs. This is not their full-time job, but these legislators make $7,000 per year in that job. So 14 days out of state and suddenly they're being fined more than their salary for the very position that they're in. So no, I didn't misspeak. These people are getting paid $7,000 per year. It looks like these legislators are lining up right now. These are the Texans who are there. So we can expect them to flank Governor Pritzker. And now we have audio, which means Pritzker is moments away. So as soon as it looks like they just turned off the audio, so that will come back in just a moment. But thanks for bearing with me here. We are seconds away from Governor Pritzker taking to the podium and giving up this press conference. But glad for you all to be watching this, because this is a major story, and we need to elevate the people who are actually fighting back. And good on these people for getting on a plane in a job that pays them $7,000 and where they're going to get fined $500 a day, putting their livelihood on the line, their energy, resources, taking away time from their own family, leaving their own state, probably to live in a hotel for God knows how long, to fight back against this bullshit that's happening in Texas. And good on Pritzker for taking a stand, being the governor that's going to help them out, give them a place to stay here and put them up in these hotels. There are 51 state reps, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the exact number, 51. Stand by on donation. I know a lot of people are asking me how to donate. I'm getting that for you in just a moment. For those who are just tuning in, Governor Pritzker is about to hold a press conference in a few seconds. He's welcomed over 50 Texas state legislators to the state. They have left the state, fled the state to break quorum, to prevent the legislature from moving forward and enacting or advancing these maps. There has to be a quorum, a minimum number of legislators there in session to be able to move forward with business. And so that number is 2/3 of the legislature. These Texas Democrats left the state, so they are being fined $500 a day. If they didn't leave the state, they would have been arrested by Texas State Police, so they had to leave the state. They're right now in Chicago, Illinois, and Governor Pritzker is assisting with logistics, so we're going to hear from him in just a moment. I believe we'll get sound in just a moment as well.
Welcome.
Here we go. All right.
Thank you. Let me get it back. Okay, I gotcha.
Good evening. My name is Gene Wu. I'm a minority leader in Texas and the leader of the Democrats in the Texas House. We're not here to have fun. We're not here because this is easy, and we did not make the decision to come here today. We did not make a decision lightly. But we come here today with absolute moral clarity that this is absolutely the right thing to do to protect the people of the state of Texas. For the last few weeks, Texas families have been burying their loved ones who were killed in the very preventable tragedy that occurred in Central Texas. Over 100 Texans died, many of them very young souls. And all Texans across the state have asked for is that the legislature focus and spend its time taking care of the families who are grieving and helping the communities who are recovering to accomplish their goals. Instead, Governor Abbott has used this tragedy, taken these families who are grieving, taken these communities who are struggling to recover, and used them as hostages in a political game. It's been 2 weeks. They don't even have a bill filed to deal with what they promised to deal with. And instead, they have spent their entire time playing dirty political games that only help themselves. And what is even worse, their attempts to do this, their attempts to disenfranchise Texans, the tool they're using is a racist, gerrymandered map. A map that seeks to use racial lines to divide hard-working communities who have spent decades building up their power and strengthening their voices. And Governor Abbott is doing this in submission to Donald Trump, so that Donald Trump could steal these communities' power and voice. We will not be complicit in the destruction of our own communities. We will not be complicit in the destruction of any communities in Texas. We will hold people accountable, and we will defend our state to the absolute best of our abilities. We're not here to play political games. We're here to demand an end to this corrupt process.
Yeah, absolutely.
We ask them to stop hiding things from the public. We ask them to stop doing things behind closed doors. We ask them to stop attacking Texas communities. They refused because their loyalty and fealty to Donald Trump overrides all other interests. We have been a part of this corruption for too long. We have seen it too many times, where Republican leaders promise our communities that they will protect our families and do what is necessary, but time and time again, they say pretty words and then take care of themselves. Well, today, this corruption ends. Today, the people of the state of Texas have said enough. Enough of your games. Enough of your lies. Today, the corruption of Donald Trump and Greg Abbott ends.
Right.
Next up, we'll welcome our former caucus chair, Trey Martinez-Fisher.
Thank you, Chair Wu. Thank you, Governor Pritzker. Thank you, Illinois. I think what my colleague is saying, that this statement, this quorum break, is not about the Democratic Party. It is about the democratic process. We from Texas are so familiar with the phrase of our Apollo 13 mission, Houston, we have a problem. Well, I say, America, we have a problem. The largest democracy in the world, and yet a Texas governor would bend a knee to Donald Trump because he's afraid to lose an election fair and square. He would rig these maps to have politicians pick voters so that he can not have to deal with a Congress that will provide oversight, accountability, and real checks and balances like our founders wanted us to. This is wrong, this is un-American, and this is undemocratic. In America, we need to wake up. Republicans are stealing our democracy right before our very eyes. But guess what? Texas Democrats are here, and we have a message for Donald Trump. Not on our watch.
That's right.
We will not have our democracy taken on our watch. Never, ever, ever underestimate the will of the American people when it comes to protecting and preserving our democracy and our voting rights. And that is why we are here, and that's what this is about. From California to New York, from Illinois, Governor, to Texas. We are all in this together. We should wake up and rise up and speak out against this injustice, and it's time to go to work. And as they say back in Texas, I think it's time we need to cowboy up and get to work and push back. So we're pleased to be here. I had the good fortune of having Gene's job a few years ago where we had to make a quorum break, and my partner in crime who helped with that is our former Democratic Caucus Chair, and that is Chairman Chris Turner. Chris.
Thank you, Trey. So, by denying the Texas House of Representatives quorum, we are using the power that we have as state legislators under the Texas Constitution to fight for our constituents. And we are all elected to fight for the people we represent. And that's exactly what we are doing here today. I want members of the media to know that in addition to the legislators you see here in front of you today, here in Chicago, there are others who are joining us in Chicago shortly. We also have delegations of our caucus in Albany and in Boston who are meeting with leaders in those states to tell them what's happening in the state of Texas. And we also have several other members who are elsewhere, but they are not in Austin, and they are not going back to the Capitol. Together, we are united in this fight, and we are working to spread the word about what's happening in Texas. Donald Trump wants more power. That's what this is about. He wants to face no accountability and no consequences. And that's why he's demanding Texas rig our congressional districts. The people of Texas have made their voices very, very clear on this. Over the course of the last 10 days, thousands of Texans have turned out to make their voices heard in our House Redistricting Committee hearings. 99% of them, and I'm not exaggerating, 99% of them have demanded that we reject Trump's Texas takeover. So what did the Republicans do? What did the Republicans do in the face of all those people saying don't do this? They ignored them, and they did it anyway. And they've accelerated this plan, this scheme through the process, and that's why we are here tonight. There was a time when a Texas governor wouldn't be afraid to tell a president, any president, don't mess with Texas.
Right.
But Greg Abbott is too subservient and too weak to do that to Donald Trump.
That's right.
So, Abbott and the Republicans in the legislature are dutifully following Trump's commands. And this is what this is about. They are engaged in an illegal act of intentional discrimination by tearing apart majority, minority congressional districts across our state. And we are not going to stand for it.
Right.
So we are here to fight for the millions of Texans who don't want Trump's Texas takeover, and we're going to continue to fight for them, and we are here to fight back. I'm going to hand it back to Leader Wu.
Thank you so much, Chris. Up next, we're going to have Governor Pritzker, and before he comes up, we just want to say thank you to Governor Pritzker for welcoming us, and definitely some need for us to fight, and also thank you to the people of Illinois for welcoming us as well. Thank you so much, Governor.
Well done. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Leader Wu. Good evening, everyone. A big thanks first to the DuPage County Democrats and their chair, Reed McCollum, for making this space available and hosting us here this evening. We're here to welcome the Texas House of Representatives Democratic Caucus and its leader, Gene Wu, to the great state of Illinois. I was honored to host all of you, a group of you, about 9 days ago, and to learn about the challenges that you might potentially face. And frankly, I wish that we were greeting you under better circumstances today. But instead, we know that you are making great sacrifices to resist the power grab that's being perpetrated by Donald Trump, by Governor Abbott, and by Texas Republicans. You are answering one of the most challenging calls of public service that has ever been asked of you. And you've had to leave behind your families, your full-time jobs, your communities, and you did it to protect the voting rights of the people that you represent and voters all across this nation. Tonight, along with the Speaker of the Illinois House, the President of the Illinois Senate, and millions of Illinoisans, we are very pleased to welcome you and to stand in solidarity with you and send a clear message to all Americans. We will not let power go unchecked,
Right.
or let your voices and their voices go unheard. Over the past few months, my political team and I have been in direct and regular contact with the Texas Democratic Caucus. In late June, I was able to spend time with the Texas Democratic Party Chair, Kendall Scudder, who traveled all the way from Dallas to prepare for this exact possibility. Last week, I was honored to host Chair Wu and members of his delegation for a frank discussion about what was at stake and how Illinois could help. I want to level set with you. about what is happening in Texas and how it affects us all, and why we are grateful that our friends from Texas are here tonight. Since Donald Trump came into office, he has taken calculated and explicit steps to grab unprecedented power and to silence his dissenters. He has ignored federal orders, federal court orders, encroached on states' rights, and he has strained our Constitution. As his cruel agenda reared its ugly head, Trump saw his poll numbers tanking and has begun to see that Republicans will likely lose control of Congress in 2026. When you try to tear health care away from veterans and seniors and people with disabilities, and stop food assistance for the most vulnerable working families in America, and raise prices on everyday groceries, all to fund tax breaks for the wealthiest people in this country, then voters are likely going to throw your party out. So Trump came up with a new scheme, rig the system by ramming through a corrupt mid-decade redistricting plan that would steal 5 congressional seats, silencing millions of voices, especially Black and Latino voters. Let's be clear, this is not just rigging the system in Texas. It's about rigging the system against the rights of all Americans for years to come. Now, Texas Republicans submitted to the president's orders and took steps to advance Trump's Texas takeover. And while Texas Democrats have been trying to work across the aisle to deliver disaster relief after the devastating floods in central Texas, Republicans chose to use the tragedy as political cover to cheat. That brings us to today. Texas Democrats were left no choice but to leave their home state, block a vote from taking place, and protect their constituents. This is a righteous act of courage, and we can all take a page from these leaders' playbook. When you show people that you have the will to fight, well, they can muster the will to fight too.
That's right.
Courage is contagious. I am very proud that Illinois Democrats have been in this fight from day one of Donald Trump's presidency. In the coming days and weeks, Illinois will partner with the Texas House Democratic Caucus to put a spotlight on the danger that Trump and Texas Republicans pose to all Americans. To be in public office right now is to constantly ask yourself, how do I make sure that we're standing on the right side of history? There's a simple answer. The wrong side of history will always tell you to be afraid.
That's right.
The right side of history will always expect you to be courageous. Expect courage from people around you, and it will show up. Expect fear, and fear will rule the day. Let the courage of these leaders be an example to the rest of the country. I'm proud to stand side by side with our friends from Texas today, and we'd be happy to take your questions.
Mr. Wu, can you talk about what is going to happen if you make it through the 19th and then another special session is called? Are you prepared to stay? Is the whole group prepared to stay here through multiple special sessions?
So look, whatever strategy we choose, whatever tactics we figure out as we move on, the only thing we have in our minds is what do we need to do to protect Texans? What do we need to do to protect Americans? And what each and every one of us has said is that we will do whatever it takes. That what that looks like, we don't know. But we're here. We're committed to this, right? We're all away from our families that we've already been away from for 6 months because of the legislature. That we've been away from our jobs. We've not earned a lot of income this entire year, and our salary for being in the legislature is $600 a month. So this is not a decision, again, that we take lightly. And all the things that we are doing right now, we're doing it because we feel that this is the only way we can protect Texans. This is the only way we can protect Americans, and that we would ask everyone else, if you want to protect this country too, come join us.
Hey, Governor, just want to get your reaction to something.
Jeremy.
John Curran, the Illinois Senate Republican leader, he issued a statement today. He called your hosting of the Texas Democrats, quote, the height of hypocrisy, end quote, since you had supported independent map making and pledged to veto a gerrymandered map. He also called the state's Illinois' current congressional map shameless in its attempt to remove choice from voters. He said Illinois Democrats should be focused on strengthening democracy here in our state with fair maps instead of chasing national headlines by intervening in other states. What's your reaction to everything that Leader Curran said about this matter?
Well, let me be clear. We passed a map in Illinois that follows the Constitution, and that is not what Governor Abbott is trying to do in Texas. We believe that the people of Texas deserve to have fair representation and not to have the game changed in the middle of the decade. That's right. There already is litigation about the original map that they put in place. Now they want to change it again. That no doubt will end up being litigated too. But let me be clear that they are attempting to cheat. And you know, I think we all know Donald Trump is a cheater. Yeah. So is the Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton. In so many ways. And we here in Illinois believe that we're, what is 2025? We've had elections now for, the 5 years that this map has been in place. We want to continue to have those fair elections. And we're proud of the fact that Democrats do better than Republicans in those districts where they're hyper-competitive, frankly, and we won in virtually every one of those districts that was competitive.
But when you look at a map that's 14-3,
yeah, but you're talking about the outcome, Paris. You're talking about the outcome. Look, the fact that we are very good in Illinois about delivering for the people of Illinois and the people react to that and vote for our candidates is very different than cheating mid-decade by rewriting the rules because their cult leader, Donald Trump, tells them to do it.
Governor Sullivan and New York Governor Kathy Hochul have both talked about the possibility of redistricting there. Would you accuse them of also cheating if they do so?
No, remember, all bets are off when the cult leader and would-be dictator of the United States tells Texas to midstream change the game when they know that they're going to lose in 2026. All bets are off. Everything's got to be on the table, and that So.
But how is it cheating in one sense and not cheating in another?
The cheating here is the fact that we are midstream in 2025, and they want to rewrite the map, and for only one reason. The cult leader of their party tells them to do it because he knows he's going to lose control of the House of Representatives.
Attorney General Ken Paxton said Democrats in the Texas House who try and run away like cowards should be found, arrested, and brought back to the Capitol immediately. We should use every tool at our disposal to hunt those down who think that they're above the law. Just reaction to that, Governor.
We follow the rules.
Oh, well, they're right. I love that. The members behind me said it all. Look, they're here in Illinois. We're going to do everything we can to protect every single one of them and make sure that, because we know they're doing the right thing. We know that they're following the law. It's Ken Paxton who doesn't follow the law.
Yeah, seriously.
It's the leaders of Texas who are attempting not to follow the law. They're the ones that need to be held accountable.
What conversations have you had about sticking together, knowing what happened in 2021, where this holdout ended after 38 days because some Democrats defected?
So, look, I mean, I think we've discussed this among ourselves enough times that I hope everyone understands that this is not 2021. The world that we're living in today is vastly different. The threats to not only our state, but to our entire country, but the very concept of what America is, this is a different day. The danger that is posed to the American people is not the same. If Donald Trump is allowed to do this, if he is allowed to once again cheat and get away with it, there is no stopping this. This will spread across the country. And just as people say it is distasteful for blue states to do this as well, but this will occur everywhere. Because if one person's going to cheat and no one's going to stop it, why doesn't everyone just do it then? And that is not a society, that is not an America that works for everybody. Everyone is already tired of the hyper-partisan bickering and all the fighting because we never get anything done. And they are creating a system that will reinforce that and make it even worse. And we're telling people, please come out, stand up against it, rise up and say no more, enough.
Was there a moment that set this in motion? When did you all collectively decide to leave the state?
So look, there's not a single moment. And throughout this process, Democrats repeatedly tried to work with Republicans on this, asking them, please, could you just at least show us the maps? Could you at least give us an idea of what you're thinking about, what you're doing? Could you please just at least file the bill to do the flooding relief? Just do something. Stop hiding the ball. Stop doing things in secret. Stop shutting people down. Stop not trying to silence our communities, but actually be effective in silencing the communities, because after they gave 48 hours after they finally revealed the maps, for the public to drive 6-7 hours across the state to come testify. And they were given 2 minutes each, and some people waited 15 hours to testify. And we didn't even finish the testimony. And we asked them, could you please go out and ask? And they said, the people who testified are not reflective of the opinions of the people of the state of Texas. Then I said, why don't you go out and do more hearings and let people have their say? They refused. Because this entire thing is corrupt. It's a sham process. It's just meant to just have the tiny amount of transparency that they can pretend that's there, and then they hide the ball and get away with whatever they want to get away with. If they are allowed to go unchecked, if this is allowed to go unchecked, this is going to spread across our country and rip it apart.
Representative, can you tell us how many people are here, how many representatives are here, and how many might be coming from New York and Boston?
We'd have to get the numbers.
Governor, would you, as a private citizen or through your Think Big America organization, or urging the DPI, would you cover the $500 a day fines that add up when the Texas legislators are missing?
Look, what they're doing is the right thing. They have a right to raise money, by the way, to support their endeavor. And I'll be clear. I haven't done that. We've done everything in terms of logistics to support, to welcome them. And again, I continue to support the endeavor that they've undertaken here. Others have already done some of that.
Do you think you're going to financially support them as this goes on?
I can't answer that. I can only tell you that I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that they're welcome here, that they have the ability to stay as long as they need to and want to, and we're glad that they're here.
And frankly, there's no need, because the outpouring of support from people, from Americans around the country, the outpouring support, since we've landed, my phone has not stopped ringing, of people texting us, keep going, tell us what you need, give me the donation link.
What is the donation link, by the way? Yeah, we'll know that in a moment.
To beat this, you would have to stay out of the state serially for months, potentially. Are you committed to doing that if it's as corrupt and undemocratic as you say? And if you're not certain, is there value in slowing this down rather than stopping it?
Yeah, so again, we don't know what the next steps are. We're trying to take this day by day. We have never given up trying to talk to our colleagues on the other side. We've never stopped trying to have negotiations and try to work out something that will actually benefit the people of Texas. And we will continue to do that. We'll continue to try. And again, I don't care what it is. The people here are risking their lives, are risking their safety. We had the Attorney General has threatened us. The governor has threatened us. We have members of our body have threatened us. And people take this very seriously. And people are committed to doing what it takes. And that's it.
What are the next steps? What are the next steps? Are you gonna be here tomorrow, raising more awareness about this? how are you gonna still attend to the duties of the people in Texas? I mean, aside, or like what are the next steps for you?
No, I think
No, I mean like the regular like legislative duties and all that, like for folks in your district. Like what are the next steps here, basically, for you?
I don't understand.
Day by day activity.
Yeah.
Day by day activity.
Well, we will have we'll have press releases in the morning. We'll tell you what we're doing.
All right, thanks everyone.
Governor, thanks so much.
Well done, yeah.
All right, let's go full on me here. So that's the quorum break right now. Good on these people. Again, they are making $7,000 per year. They're getting fined $500 per day. These are not wealthy. These are not wealthy national Democrats who have major platforms and millions of dollars in personal wealth and the ability to fundraise. These are state legislators who are leaving their jobs, leaving their full-time jobs because you can't survive on $7,000 a year, leaving their families, leaving their homes, leaving their safety to put themselves on the line to live out of a hotel in Chicago. So good on them for doing this. Remember that we also have a donate link pinned to the top of this stream. Also worth noting that if you can't find the link, it's riggedredistricting.com. So good on them. I'm just going to reiterate one thing here. One quick sec. I'm scheduling, at the same time that I'm doing this, I'm also scheduling an interview that's going to happen about this with James Tallarico. One thing I want to note here, for anybody that says, oh, isn't this a race to the bottom? We're already in this. We're already in this race to the bottom. Republicans have already engaged in gerrymandering in a raft of states across the country: North Carolina, Ohio, Wisconsin, Florida, Texas the first time, Utah. And yes, Democrats have gerrymandered some states as well. We have Maryland and Illinois, where they are right now, that are gerrymandered in response to what Republicans are doing. But largely, Democrats have relied on independent redistricting commissions in our major Democratic strongholds like New York and California, because we thought naively that if we offer some goodwill to the other side, that they would reciprocate. Not only did they not reciprocate with good government reforms, but they continue to gerrymander the everlasting fuck out of their own states. And so my line here is that instead of unilaterally disarming or waiting for them to reciprocate when they won't, we need to start fighting back before we are relegated to the minority permanently, and that's what the Republicans are looking to do right now. So at this point, recognizing that our only avenue here is to fight fire with fire because they will never voluntarily engage in good governance, recognizing that our only avenue here is to fight fire with fire, we need every Democratic governor across the entire country to step up, recognize that we are in a war right now with people who do not care whether democracy lives or dies, and get aggressive in terms of how they gerrymander our own states. And yes, I don't think we should have gerrymandering. I think it should be illegal across the country. Key words: across the country. We are not going to unilaterally disarm here, and we shouldn't unilaterally disarm. In fact, when Republicans go for 5 seats in Texas, we should go for 30. We should have a 52-0 map in California. We should have a 17-0 map in Illinois. We should have an 8-0 map in Maryland. We should get every seat we can in New York. That's what we have to do in response to what we are seeing Republicans do right now. I'm so tired of Democrats not recognizing what Republicans are doing, the extent to which they are rigging the rules in their own favor on a weekly, monthly, annual basis, and us not thinking that they're going to continue to do it. So we need to start getting aggressive here and fighting back in very much the same way that they are, and to show them that we're not only going to just respond tit for tat, respond in a commensurate fashion, but show them that we are going to respond so forcefully that if they are going to engage in this, they're going to be punished for doing it. We need to serve as something of a deterrent effect for them to do this stuff. So if they want to go through with this in Texas, great. Let's get 30 of our own seats and see if they really thought it was worth it to engage in this farcical sham where they try to grab 5 seats in an overt power grab. That's what we need to do. And until we have that posture, there's no reason for them to not engage in these schemes like they're doing in Texas, like they're doing in Missouri, like they'll continue to do in other states where they have partisan hacks as governors like Ron DeSantis down in Florida. So we need to start getting aggressive here and recognizing that if you are uncomfortable with what Republicans are doing, the only way to stop it is to offer up a deterrent for them to stop doing it. And that is to get aggressive and show them that if they're going to do this, it's going to be met with force that's 10 times larger than what they're doing initially. So I've tried to use what limited resources and influence I have. I spoke with Governor Newsom, Governor Pritzker, Governor Hochul, Governor Moore in just the last 7 days to try and push them on this. Newsom was fully committed to this. I do want to try to push him to do a 52-0 map. I know he's going to go forward with the plan, and it's going to be expensive. It's probably going to cost upwards of $100 million to put this thing up to a special a vote for a special a referendum in November of 2025. But I hope that when it happens that they go 52-0. That's what we need. I hope that the same thing happens in Maryland. Wes Moore said he was speaking with his legislators right now in the state. And Pritzker, of course, understands the gravity of the moment we're in, as you just saw from that press conference we just watched. And so that map is 14-3. I hope that map is 17-0 by the time he's done with it. Again, for anybody who's going to be like, oh, you say you don't want gerrymandering and you're calling for a 17-0 map in Illinois. You say you don't want partisan gerrymandering, but you're calling for a 52-0 map in California. Here's what I want. I want a nationwide ban on gerrymandering, and I'll support it any day of the week. If any Republican, anyone at all, wants to put forward, introduce a nationwide ban on gerrymandering, I will support that thing wholeheartedly. I want no gerrymandering, but until that is put into effect nationwide, we are not going to unilaterally disarm. And we made a major mistake by doing it in New York, we made a major mistake by doing it in California, and we are paying the price for it right now, recognizing how shameless and anti-democratic these Republicans are. So we need to start fighting with fire, start thinking about how Republicans are acting here, and not trying to, when they go high, when they go low, we go high. That mentality is out the window. That is a slogan for another time. So we need to get with the program right now, recognize the moment we're in, and fight fire with fire in a way that will actually prevent them from doing what they're trying to do, which is permanently relegate Democrats to the minority, which is disallow Democrats from ever being able to win elections and lead the House. That's the plan they are carrying out in real time, in broad daylight. Let's not get it twisted. Let's not pretend that we don't see what's happening, because it's as clear as day right now. So I really do hope that these governors are going to start recognizing the fight that we're in. I'm going to continue reaching out to governors this week to get them on my show. I know that Kathy Hochul is right now in a primary against, I believe, her lieutenant governor. I'm going to get a lieutenant governor on the show. I'll reach out to them and get them on the show and see if they'll take an even more aggressive tack. I want whoever's going to fight harder. That's my litmus test. Who's going to fight harder for Democrats? Who's going to fight harder for democracy? Who's going to fight harder for the people that you represent in your state? Who's going to fight harder against Trump and these Republicans? That's who my support's going to get thrown behind. I don't give a fuck if you're the incumbent, if you're more progressive or moderate. I want to see who's going to actually get out there and fight harder for people. That's my litmus test. That's what I'm voting for. That's what I'm voting on this election. That's who I'll platform. So we'll leave it there. I will be interviewing James Tallarico in a few minutes. If you are not yet subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, but it's a great way to support my work. And this way you'll also be able to see the interview with James Tallarico coming up. I also covered this story today. If you go on to my YouTube channel, for example, you'll see the picture of James Tallarico. It was just posted a couple of hours ago, I believe 2 hours ago. That is my in-depth coverage. It also includes clips from Wes Moore, Kathy Hochul, Gavin Newsom, and JB Pritzker. as well as a good clip that I really liked with Mark Elias. And he echoes the claims that I've been making, which is when Republicans want to steal 5 seats, we steal 30. That's how it goes. When Republicans want to rig the maps, then we rig them harder. And we're perfectly willing to disarm when everybody disarms, when we pass a nationwide ban on gerrymandering. But until that goes into effect, then we are not going to unilaterally disarm. Then we have to fight as hard as humanly possible. So again, if you're not yet subscribed, please make sure to subscribe. If you're on Twitch, no need to subscribe. You could just follow. But I appreciate all the support from everybody. Thank you for tuning in for the live stream. Please share this issue with people you know. This is where it's at. This is the fight that we're in right now. So, the more people we can get on board, the more people who recognize what's at stake, the better off we'll be. So I appreciate you all tuning in. And as soon as we have any news on this, I'll bring it to you. All right. Thanks, everybody.